All right, started the recording. Hello, everybody.
Bonjour.
Good to see you. We'll let everybody kind of keep filtering in. Then we'll talk about the deep things of the universe.
I hope you have an answer, Johnny.
Sad answers. We got questions.
My default answer to I have multiple answers to that question, but my first default answer is tacos. Always tacos.
That's a good
That's
answer.
good.
That's a good answer.
Okay.
Will, I see you here. Good to see you, man. You're on mute. That's fine. You don't have to say anything. I just acknowledge your presence, man. It's been a long time since we talked. Kenny, dude,
Yo, what's up?
you make me so happy, bro. I just want to brag on you, man. I'm gonna brag on you a little bit. Kenny is
Go right. Thanks, man.
Kenny's helping my stepson. My stepson, he and I are super duper close, and he's kind of early in his career. And I put the call out to Kenny to put his arm around him and help him out, help him figure out some of the applications of his gift. And he was super positive about the calls. You've had 2 calls with him so far, right, Kenny?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm gonna talk with him again on Monday. We got a small project coming up, so it'll be good. It's perfect timing too. It just like happened that way.
Yeah. Well, thank you, man. That means the world to me.
Yeah, 100%.
Kenny.
Who else we got here? My new friend Jason. It's good to see you, my man. Marta just makes me happy. But the glasses are not red. What are you doing? You're off brand.
No, I'm just shaking it up. I have multiple brands. No, I don't think I have multiple brands. I do have the red if it makes you feel better. I'm right there.
Doesn't make me feel better. No, I just you have trained me to expect the red
Yeah,
glasses.
now I
The
gotta
blue
know
or,
though.
thinking. Sorry.
I gotta know though. Are there other colors?
Oh, pink, purple, black when things are really serious. And yeah, green,
Tortoiseshell?
tortoise. Yeah, all variety. And they're all cheaters. And like, I don't pay hundreds of dollars for each of them. They're all just cheating because I can't see it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's good to see you, Marta. And then Melissa Chowning in the house. Thank you for coming.
Hello.
What's up?
Thanks for the invite.
Yeah.
Nice to see some of y'all. Nice to meet some of y'all.
Yep. Good to see you. So we're not going to do a lot of introductions today. It's getting too big to do introductions every time, unfortunately. So I guess we're gonna have to get to know each other in conversation. But I am going to let my new people say a little bit. David LaFontaine, it's good to see you, brother.
Good to see you too as well.
All right, just listen to that man's voice, just like liquid gold in your ear. Just listen to him. That's all. No matter.
Well, thank you so much, but I have to warn you, I'm at about 75% Dave today. I was speaking at a conference over the weekend and around a whole bunch of people, and I think something got into my lungs. You can probably hear it.
You sound even better, bro. You sound even better. Make an album today is what you need to do.
Oh God. Apparently I've got to launch my Dave is Sick podcast.
Yeah. Oh man, we'll do it.
Thank you.
And then Lori, I see you, Lori. Oh man, we had such a vibrant conversation a few weeks ago, and so good to see you here with us, Lori.
Thank you.
And then I think I touched everybody. No, Abby's here, bro. Oh man, it's a party now,
Johnny.
dude.
When I knew
gosh.
Lori was joining, I had to be here.
Oh, dude. Okay, I didn't know you were going to be rolling in, but I'm so glad you came. Yeah,
Happy to.
Abby, you're my resident personal data genius on call, man. I love it. Okay, cool. So I'm going to go ahead and let let's see here. I'm going to start with Lori. So just so everybody's prepped, Lori's going to go, Melissa's going to go, and Jason's going to go, and just you got 3 minutes or so, and just tell us. Let's see here, a conviction. I should have prepared you. I'm sorry, but just give us a conviction. You know, I usually ask for a passion, but I'm going to ask for I've been getting different answers when I ask for a conviction. So tell me a conviction that you hold, or tell us a conviction that you hold, and
I have
then
absolutely no idea what you're looking for here.
you can
Conviction
do-
for what? Was I convicted of anything? No, never
yeah,
convicted.
yeah. How many convictions have you had? And if it's zero, get off the call because we're criminals here. No. So you know, I usually ask passion, like what are you passionate about? And conviction is maybe that to the next level. What's something you know deeper than deep that your experience has
Well,
taught you?
what's interesting
Name
is
first,
just
name first, and name first, title, company, and then go into that.
sure. Lori Silverstein company is called Strive, and I am the Senior Vice President of Global Sales for Data Analytics and AI. Company is an outsourcing firm based in India, Philippines, Vietnam, Nicaragua, Singapore, South Africa, and been with the company through 2 tours of duty over the last 16 years. And I would say I am passionate about sales, and it's also my strongest conviction. I think it is a different type of a career, and what I'm seeing as our company continues to evolve, the difference between what's a hunter, what's a farmer, what's a client partner, and have really seen that when someone says they're a hunter and really a salesperson, that really is a breed unto itself. So
Yeah.
something I am both very passionate about and have very strong convictions for.
Yes. And what is it about you personally that makes you good at that? Because it sounds like you're a hunter, right? Like that's
I am a hunter. I think I develop really good relationships with my clients. I have clients that I have worked with through them moving from 4 or 5 companies over the last 20 years. Being a good listener, and just even if you have absolutely no idea what the client's talking about, if you're a good listener, you can always figure out what they want and what they're looking for and how you can help them. And I think that makes a good salesperson, is just being able to listen more than you're talking and finding common ground with a client who wants a win-win kind of relationship.
what I found is that usually what a person is looking for, if you're selling to them, is they want to know that you know what you're talking about, that you're not just persuasive and you know, able to close, but that you like actually know what you're talking about. And that's the sense when you and I talked, like your ability to architect complex solutions, complex data solutions using innovative technology, which that was what floored me. So, you know,
Well, thank you. A lot of that comes from thanking Abby.
yeah.
He was my partner in crime for 3 years in doing that at this company, and just an amazing solutions mindset person, understanding how to marry business and technology. He and I were an awesome tag team.
Yeah, I can see it. Thank you, Lori. I'm going to pass the mic now to Jason. Jason, what you got, man? A conviction, something you know deeper than deep.
Something I know deeper and deep. Well, buy myself some time here because I've been still thinking about what you mean by. I believe tacos sold everything. I think I told you guys before this. So, yeah. But connections. And I joke. I use tacos as an opening, but you know, essentially, I believe in connections. Making a connection is the key to success, right? In
Yes.
understanding where the other person's viewpoint is you don't whether you know you're coming in as a outsider, as a consultant, or somebody within the company, and especially my role, the roles I've had where I straddle and work with multiple different departments internally. Big conviction that you walk in with an open mind and make a connection. Worst thing you can do is walk in and start telling people this is how you do things.
Yeah, right. And then name and company and all that kind of stuff. Sorry.
All right. So Jason Yee, coming off a gig, working for an engineering consulting company. been basically working with marketing technology and marketing operations, events and media for the last, well, with media, probably the last 2 decades to date myself. But heavy into the technology and marketing technology the last 12 years.
Yeah, and Jason's a cross between a CTO and a CMO, and so he kind of sits in the middle of those two things. And then Jason, you said big picture, and what I loved about what you shared with me is your ability to see the big picture and then break it down into its component parts, as a mechanism to get the entire organization unified and on track towards a strategy. That's kind of where you sit. You're a mediator between
Yep.
departments.
I always like to say that I have and can jump in and handle the day-to-day stuff, but that also gives me a lot of insights into zooming out and stepping into the boardroom and talking to the senior leadership and understanding strategy, presenting strategy, but also understanding how to execute that strategy. It's real easy to say this is what we're going to do, but the how you're going to do it is also just as important. So.
And you've got some commonalities with David LaFontaine, who's on the call. David's a detective. He's really good at combing through data and finding the weird nugget.
Yeah.
And right, like he's really good at that. And then Marta also sits in a little bit different niche in that space. And so both of you, Laurie and Jason, both work with media organizations. I mean, that's part of why you're here. You work with media data organizations, you work with data strategy, and have things to add to the conversation. So I appreciate that. And then Jason, you've got some experience working with CDP too, right? Like
yeah, customer data, my data platforms. Yes. Yeah. I what I've found it's interesting is I worked mainly in media, but over the last few years I've worked in a couple of different industries too. I was just working with engineering consulting company and also working with events and also financial advisors. And it's how you collate data, how you tag it, and the architecture and the segmentation and personalization. It's really interesting to see how the backbone, how we've always thought about with media, is so easily translatable to all these other businesses. Sometimes they don't realize that how they want to do things and how they approach their customers is what media's been doing forever with lists and again, I'm going to date myself here to extent, back in the circulation days and having your circulation list. It's the same idea, and it's absolutely the same idea. And all it is about leveraging technology today with CDPs and marketing automation technologies and CRMs but it's all new, fun, shiny toys to play, but not if you don't have that fundamental understanding of setting up your data architecture correctly in the background. Then it doesn't matter what kind of shiny new toy you have. You still not.
You're Jason. You're in the wrong place.
Properly.
You're in the wrong place. You don't belong here talking like that. You don't belong here. No, I'm joking. He's like, yeah, you're like so on point, so on target with the kind of things we talk about here. So thank you, brother. Melissa in the house. Oh man, the anticipated arrival. So glad that you're here. Go ahead and introduce yourself and then something deeper than deep.
Sure. Hi, everybody. My name is Melissa Chowning. I own and run a small audience development agency. I started my career in media. I actually can date myself with you, Jason. My first job ever in media was called a circulation associate. So I started on that side of the fence and worked my way through audience development, digital, really embraced digital and the kind of like 2010, 2011, 2012 time period, and knew that was like the path I wanted to take my career. And then started this agency about 6 years ago. And pretty much our entire client base is media organizations. And we work with them to help them grow their audiences, build sustainable build sustainable relationships with their audience, and grow their reach, conversions, audience revenue, all that good stuff. Something I have a lot of conviction behind. I'm glad I got to go third because I was like, oh my God, I got to come up with something good here. I think especially right now, more than ever, the most valuable skill set that one can have is curiosity. I think there's so much that is happening and changing every day. And I thank the fact that I have like a very healthy dose of curiosity that is what keeps me going and keeps me interested in all of the things that are happening each day and changing in this whole ecosystem. And it makes it feel less overwhelming when you approach all of that from a point of curiosity. So that's my conviction.
I love that. You know, John Garrett actually said something very similar when we were sharing probably a couple of months ago when he was here. And you've worked with John Garrett, yeah?
Yeah, we have.
Yeah, he's good. He's a good dude, and I can see why you both resonated together. Let's see, what would I say? What would I say about you, Melissa? I'd probably say what I noticed about you is that curiosity, but then there's an authority that comes with you. You seem to be a person who is an elect few of people, specifically within city regional media, that seems to have a vision for the future, but then the ability to execute. She's got a great reputation amongst city regional magazines. Specifically, I know that for a fact in terms of being able to come into organizations and execute. And what is that thing that what are they buying from you when they buy, Melissa? You know, when John Garrett hires you, what's he buying, right? Obviously, there's technology with it, whatever. But what's he really buying when he buys?
Expertise and experience. I've built a team myself, and then I've built a team of people that have a good dose of experience, a good amount of authority and understanding of all of the parts of the ecosystem. And so we bring all that together and help somebody determine like, what is the next step? What is the strategies and the path you should be taking here? So it comes with experience. It comes with the curiosity and just the passion for the topic and the subject matter itself.
Yeah, and then you would the wording you would put on like the outcome has to do with audience development, so increasing engagement with an audience, but then also you play with the digital marketing ramifications of that as well, right?
Yeah, all in the digital marketing space, definitely. Really helping grow audiences, but honestly, like more and more, especially in the last year or two, the asks from our clients and the conversations that we're having with our clients, because we have very strategic, regular conversations with the folks that we work with, are even pivoting more away from just like, how do I grow my audience, but how do I build a sustainable organization? So beyond the fact that I want more traffic or I want more emails or whatever, but how do I build a sustainable business model here that has a reliance on consumer revenue, has a healthy, has a reliance on advertising revenue? How do I pull all those together, serve both of those different, gods, if you will, and make it all work like that? But more and more, that's what we're hearing from people is like, help me figure out how to make this a strategy that's sustainable, not just now, but into the future.
Yeah. Yep. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. So anybody else so for the three people that shared, anybody have a point of connection or a something that they resonated with from what either Lori said, what Jason said, or what Melissa said? Feel free. I'll open up a few minutes for that before we jump into the actual content of the discussion today.
No, just generally that as I just said in the comments, I really love seeing the fact that we have audience development and marketing and brand people here today in this discussion, because one of the things that I wanted to bring up and have us chew over is one of the tools is something that really lives in that space that I've been taking a deeper dive into recently. Other than that,
well, now we're all curious. Can you say a little bit more about that? Little bit.
Just a little bit. Just basically about, since so much of what's going on in media right now is building community. That's the word that everybody talks about, building community. We need a community. That's what makes, media work. That's what actually brands want too. But over in the UX space, what we're looking at is what are the factors that are causing people to leave, to abandon communities? What destroys online communities? And that's one of the things that has in the last year or so with the rise of, and I know, I'm sorry, AI, I'm the first one, there should be like a magic word. Thank you so much. That AI has really caused this problem to just get orders of magnitude worse. Anyway, that's where I'm hoping to go today.
All right, so David, I want to say about David, and David, you often like come up with resources and white papers and things like that, and you're like, hey, Johnny, can I share this with the group? I just want to right now in front of everybody say, share it with the group. You don't have to ask me. Like, this brother is
Share away. I'll love to see it.
is wildly curious and studies and researches, and I think I would like you to share that benefit with the group
All right.
at your leisure. So, all right, anybody else have a point of resonance, or shall we move on? I used to be a high school teacher. I'm really good at letting the awkward silence linger. Don't mind it.
Yes, but which of us gets to clap the erasers after class and gets a little gold star and gets to be like hall monitor?
You do, David.
Well, then, thank you. I feel validated for today.
Very cool.
Do they still actually have chalkboards?
Probably not.
No.
Oh,
Probably a
whiteboards from what
digital
I've seen now.
chalkboard.
Yeah.
Yeah, Marta.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, kind of like tangential, it's certainly not up to the level of David's observation, but Jason's, I was not expecting the notion of connection. Making a connection is the key to success. I wrote it down and put your name next to it. It's gonna go on a wall someplace, Jason. Because as you were talking, it felt to me like, wow, there's so many layers to this to that word, and the truism of if you put the notion of connection into any kind of business situation, it has legs. And it struck me as a really interesting point of view.
Yeah.
So thank you, Jason.
And I know it's close to your
And
heart. Yeah, because that's part of your superpower.
exactly. And when all else fails, tacos. Now that's a new one for me too.
All right, very cool. Let's jump into it. I've been excited for this. So the topic today is, what is a technology that media organizations should be aware of? And it can be any technology that you think that maybe most media organizations aren't, or some are not aware of and should be, because it carries a part of the puzzle for their future. And doesn't have to be, but in general, I want to angle it towards either creating engagement or creating revenue, or both, right? So what is a technology that publishers should be aware of? Doesn't have to be fancy, doesn't have to be sparkly, doesn't have to be cutting edge. It can be meat and potatoes, but what are those technologies?
Hey, Johnny, I'll jump in if I can.
Yeah.
So we're playing with a new AI startup company called Satchel. I don't know if anybody else has run into them. Interesting. They're from New Zealand, and it's just been fascinating. I mean, I get the whole, use of AI in publisher world and everything. For those that don't know me, I own a small digital only news site, some radio stations, and a small business focused marketing agency. And one of our biggest challenges in this market is that our county, our coverage area is the size of Rhode Island, but there's only 40,000 people here. We're in rural Wyoming, extreme rural Wyoming. And we have 7 different school districts, and we have a Native American reservation. There's just way too many boards and councils and things to cover. And we've been looking for a reliable way to be able to drop a Zoom link or a YouTube link into a reliable AI platform and give us a summary of the meeting, custom outputs, and story ideas, highlights of the meeting, that kind of thing. And we came across Satchel and started building a beta platform, and it's good. is really
Yeah.
good. We haven't gotten into our, we just finished kind of approving the outputs and training it a little bit. And we're waiting to get into our dashboard and actually, start using the tool a little bit. But it blew me away. And the custom outputs that they're creating for us with it will give us the opportunity to be able to listen to 7 different council meetings or 7 different school board meetings, or 14 meetings,
Wow.
all at the same time, in a sense, and scan through them, have ready-made story ideas. It learns from the stories that it gives you and starts pulling in that additional information. So far, our editor is thrilled with it. Very minimal human intervention needed. Some, I mean, you got to edit it. You have to. It needs that piece, but just a fantastic tool. In terms of audience engagement, we're going to be able to cover things that we've never been able to get people to and to cover before. And from a revenue perspective, I don't know if anybody on the call, we've needed 1 million tools as an agency for small businesses, everything from loyalty programs and SEO, website building, things like that. But we're, again, small market, Wyoming. It's a huge part of our business, but we just can't hire all of those people to do that work. And we've been looking for a platform to help us with that. And we signed almost a year ago with Vendasta. I don't know if anybody's come across them. And a third-party marketplace for services, marketing services. They have a lot of their own stuff. I could go on and on forever, but we have, we're really close to tripling the size of our agency since we started working with them in terms of revenue.
Wow.
It is, and we never thought we would be there, but all white labeled, and I manage it, and the big picture and the clients and everything, but has been fantastic. They've been a great partner, and I can't say enough good things.
Do a lot of the local independent online, you're a Lion is what is the term, right, for kind of the group that you're in. Are the other Lions aware of this technology and doing what you're doing? Are they kind of following your lead, or are you still just blazing the trail?
I think a few of them are. I mean, Kenny was vaguely aware of them when I mentioned the name for the first time. And could speak maybe more to some other Lions, but I'm going to start. We love it so much. We just signed up as an affiliate. So now I'm talking to publishers about it and making revenue from selling it to publishers. So, I mean, we really, really like it. And I'm going to be at the Lion conference this fall. I'm going to be talking to people about it for sure.
I love that, man. And then I would say just, it would be cool if anybody finds an opportunity, where something like this would be useful. It'd be sweet to bring Will in so that Will can get that affiliate credit for whatever gets brought in. So this we don't have like hard and fast rules here. This is a networking and kind of referral based group, but it's cool to know that you're actually representing them, which means you would be looking for, open to opportunities for anybody here to reach out to you and say, hey, can you make this? I've got somebody to connect with. Vendasta. So connecting through you.
Canadian.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
All right.
It's on my agenda to sign up with them for Red Bank Green, because I got a fair amount of stuff that I was handling through Upworkers, but I'm looking for a more manageable way to do it. And I think Vendasta's might be the thing I got to look into. So if I do that, it's through your referral link.
Yeah, definitely. If you want to look at the back end, just let me know. I'll give you a tour.
Yeah. Separately, we should talk about Lion and a little pregame I was thinking about. So
definitely.
Sweet.
If I might ask, Will, what is it that Vendasta has allowed you to do? Did it allow you to scale up so that you could get more customers, or did it allow you to get deeper so that you could get more revenue out of the existing customer base, or both?
Both, really. So previously I had a single employee who was building websites and doing SEO, and He maxed out at about 2 to 3 websites in development maximum, and it would take the client be waiting on us, that kind of thing. I currently have a board behind me with 13 in development right now. And 30 days is the average to launch. And every one of those customers, we're able to offer local SEO, listing services, and professional SEO as well, organic SEO, all of the different services, digital advertising, everything, all under one umbrella in one app that the client has access to for reporting and everything. So it's allowed us to scale in terms of breadth, but also go deeper with clients. Now we're offering it to all of our advertising clients. Kenny was generous enough to work with them to get Broad Street connected. So hopefully once that rolls out, all of our local advertising clients will be in the Vendasta business app that comes with it. And then we'll go deeper with every one of those clients too, with services, including local advertising. So it's been both for sure.
Got it. And it helps them. It helps you pry the advertising money away from the Google, Facebook duopoly.
Well, we run into that a bit, but it's the big thing for us has been walking in and taking people away from the Dex imitation thing called Thrive. And people, they do something for me. I don't even know what they do. And we're able to build them a new website, do all of their listing services, do all the different things, and take that money away from Dex, who I can't say enough terrible things about since they've sent me to collections. So, but I mean, things like that, we're able to be competitive. We have Town Square in our market. They're great. I love everybody at Town Square, but they're a big corporation and they treat things that way. And so I just feel like we can do a better job. And now I have access to all of those tools and that high touch level. I'm not sending it off into a corporate, we have to do it this way kind of thing. I'm able to manage it. So we've been able to take some away from them too.
Nice. This is good stuff. I'll check it out. Thanks, man.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Will. That's like pure gold to the right person. So thank you for being generous and sharing that. Anybody else? What's a technology? I'll go real fast. Which I'm going to do it with a caveat. So I use an AI secretary called Clara, and Clara is seamless 95% of the time. 5% of the time, it's AI, right? And so it solved a massive problem. Most of the time, when you get technology, it is below what you had hoped it would do, or maybe right at what you had hoped it would do. And Clara is, 50% above, above what I would have expected, and even complex use cases it can handle. And so that 5% of issue that I have is really the same level of issue you could have with a human person. It's just misunderstanding or things like that. But the ability to, because what they did, I think the reason that Clara works is because it took a very narrow use case, which is people who schedule a lot of meetings through email, right? That's me. I'm maybe 20 meetings, 20 plus meetings a week, right? So I can't, and even a person working for me would have a hard time. I've tried like part-time people, and it just, it's too much. And so, what Clara will do is when I say, Clara, will you schedule a meeting? Clara will try to schedule a meeting and we'll follow up, and it'll be on a cadence and it will be on a sequence. And so, and again, people that really are meeting heavy, and that could be, I think, sales teams within media organizations, right? Like people that are supposed to be consistently meeting with people, specifically online. It works the best for if you're meeting with people online. So digital meeting, Zoom meeting, has been a complete game changer. And I've probably been able to triple the number of meetings I have in a year due to the confluence of Clara and the fact that I changed my meetings to half hour from an hour. So my typical meeting is a half hour now. And so I probably tripled my meetings, which is for me, a big win. So I'll just share that out with anybody. Now, I think their beta just closed, and so let me know if you're trying to sign up and you have trouble, and I'll try to pull if anybody wants it, and I'll pull some strings, because I know the people, I know some of the leadership there, but they're going through a bit of a some sort of restructure that's happening. So they closed their beta, and now it's a little bit harder for people to get in. But let me know if you want that. But that's mine. What else you got? Don't keep me in anticipation. What are the goods?
I'll go
All right.
with one I was talking about this morning. Oh, sorry.
Sure.
You want
No, no, please.
Oh, okay. I don't know if this is like, it's interesting to me. I just heard about it in the last couple of days, and it's not necessarily tied to revenue, but I think it addresses something that I've been talking a lot with clients about lately, which is AI crawlers and how much you want AI crawlers to have access to your content or not have access to your content. I've done some analysis recently with clients of like what kind of bots are crawling your site, what kind of other media companies are they allowing or disallowing some of these bots. And I learned about a company called TollBit. I'll drop the URL in the chat. But essentially it is a company that looks like it recently got some funding to come in and kind of play like a paywall, but for bots. So if a publisher says like, I'm striking a deal with ChatGPT, or I'm striking a deal with Perplexity or something like that, that they can say, I want you to allow in this bot and allow it to crawl this type of content or not this type of content, depending on the relationship that maybe you've struck with some of the AI companies, or just what you in general want to make available. I feel like I'm finding it more and more challenging to keep up with the volume of bots that exist. And you know, I was talking with a client this morning, and it was like, oh, ByteDance has a bot. So TikTok is trying to develop an AI tool now. And, you know, ByteDance is crawling all these people's sites, and I could see it in there, and it's like, oh, what's this one? And so I think things like this, these like almost like middlemen that are emerging that are saying essentially like, we will help be the toll booth essentially, and only let in what you want to let in and keep out what you want to keep out. And it's getting a little Wild West. And so I think it's kind of neat to see these middlemen emerging to help facilitate that.
Wow. So the regional, let's say the city regional magazine publisher, let's say or like Will's type of shop, right? The online news. What would be the holy grail that they're going to receive, right? What's the benefit that they're going to ultimately receive from using this?
More control over knowing and allowing which type of bots are allowed to crawl their content and which ones aren't. And what I understand about it is that it's free. The only way that TollBit gets paid is if you were to strike a monetary deal with an AI company, they would get a cut. So if you came and said, we're, you know, like AP and Financial Times this week struck a deal with ChatGPT or OpenAI, and like they would get a cut of that deal if you were to strike it. But in the absence of that, the service is free. So they're essentially coming in and say on their site, I think it says something like we're a paywall for bots, and we're like Spotify for something. So essentially, like they're helping you say, I want to let access to these people. I don't want to let access to these, and also like what kind of content you want to make available.
That sounds like a very pro publisher model. Like I love that.
I'm curious.
Yeah.
I'm curious though whether like are they actually sort of like the security wall as well? Like are they actually stopping bots, or is it sort of? I mean the way most bots work today is like they will go through your robots.txt and then sort of decide if they're allowed or not allowed. So are they sort of advising bots in terms of like here's who's allowed and here's who's not allowed, or is it actually a sort of wall where they only are allowing certain bots through to see content?
I think tactically it's almost they're essentially like managing your robots.txt file. And so they're going to say like, do you, ByteDance has one. Do you want to let this person in? Yes, no. Okay, cool. We'll take care of that. And for a lot of like publishers that I work with or small publishers, like the idea of keeping up with all of the bots that are surfacing and what they're trying to get access to is just like hard to wrap their head around. So having a player in the middle that's kind of helping
That recognizes
Put the
that this
wall
is a
up and-
bot so that you know whether to actually allow or disallow in your robots.txt. Interesting.
Yeah, exactly. It's almost like outsourced management of your robots.txt file. in a
Yeah,
sense.
yeah,
Yeah.
makes sense.
Which is a good thing, because as you said, there's so many bots going around right now, and unless you name the bot exclusion list in your robots.txt file specifically to say, I don't want this bot to come here and scrape my content, it's going to be like, well, you
Okay.
didn't say no.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
Off goes your
exactly.
content.
Exactly.
As long as
And
I,
it's
yeah.
hard to keep up with all of them. And so, yeah,
Yeah,
it
and
is
they're
exactly,
popping
it's
up like
very
mushrooms
true.
after a spring rain. The thing that would be one step further is the thing that takes the bot and then puts it in like a little circular, never-ending loop on your site so that it doesn't ever get out.
Bobby's laughing. Look, why are you laughing, bro? It's good.
No, because it's like, I mean, that was my point. Like, they're sort of playing the middleman today, but it would be a far more effective tool if you're actually like stopping bots that are not allowed, you know. And then as David just said, putting it in an endless loop, like you can't pull any content from here.
Yeah, some of the guys that I've seen in the Fediverse are doing stuff where they're deliberately targeting the bots and just feeding them garbage. And that was what I was speaking at the conference this last weekend, to a conference of writers and artists. And one of the artists was talking about how the bots got a hold of all of her catalog of art, and she has a very distinctive style. And all of a sudden, her engagements to do her art for publications just fell off a cliff because they're like, "Why do we need to pay you?" Yeah, it's a real deal.
Yeah.
Anyway.
We used to like in the data world, a lot of data providers, especially ones that had sort of a freemium model, would always put like one fake record in there. So they knew if that fake record showed up somewhere else, then they had been scraped. And they knew exactly, you know, what had happened and who pulled it, and then they could say like you were not supposed to.
Man,
And
crazy.
here's your DMCA takedown notice.
Yes, exactly.
Indeed. Yeah, RIAA was all up on that.
Very good stuff. Thank you. Thank you, Melissa.
All right. I suppose it's time for me to go. Should I jump in this? All right.
Go for it, man.
All right.
Let me put a little bit. So we're gonna do a little more rapid fire now. The last 5 to 8 minutes, a little more rapid fire, and then I do want to leave a little bit of time for needs and gives. You know, what you need, what you give, what you're giving right now, what you're offering right now, what you need right now. So go ahead, David.
All right. This one here, basically, I'd previewed it a little bit about building a community. Now that so many publishers are depending upon donations or subscriptions in lieu of advertising, what you're basically doing right there is you're selling content. And if you're looking at selling content, the canaries in the coal mine on that one are music and games. So one of the things that I got called on to do is looking at why online communities get destroyed in online games. And it turns out there's that unholy trinity of porn, spam, and trolls. And controlling online communities, what was it? It was an NIH study found that uncontrolled trolls caused the subscriber base for an online game to go from 20 million to 3 million. That's a lot.
Wow.
When you have online communities and you're building online communities with your online media, if the people who are coming to your online communities are having a bad user experience, where I come in, and that's the trolls, the spam, the what is it, brigading, good Lord, griefing, all these things, they become brand saboteurs. And you have a great deal of people right now who are invested in destroying reliable media sites and just going there, and they have I think there's a Senate candidate in Arizona who actually was employing an entire team of teenagers to go into news sites and trash them. and make it so that everybody that went there had a negative experience, so that, you know, all the people that were calling BS on this stuff, all the businesses got hurt. So the tool for this, well, there's processes, and I'll go over those. I'll send you some stuff here about, you know, inclination, regulatory interest, and enforcement resources. But the one that I wanted to look at was what are some of the community management tools, and I'm sure that Melissa's probably had to play in this space, unfortunately. The one that I was looking at recently is one called Hive. And that's not just looking for naughty words, because a lot of times the trolls now have gotten smarter, and they'll misspell the naughty words, or worse yet, they will put in GIFs or images with really hateful and inciting things in there. And then they work in teams of 3, the devil, the saint, and the stooge, to like just start problems in your online community, so that every time your users log on to try to participate in this online community that they're paying for, all they get is a negative experience. And then after a while, if all you get is a negative experience, you're out of there. Anyway, that's my tool for now. And let me put it into the chat.
You're the man, David. Thank you. I appreciate it. And I would love you. I'm not ever. I gave you homework in the past. I don't know why I give you homework. It's because you're like such an A+ student, probably. But I'll say, if you have more to say, feel free to say it, because I know you're getting concatenated a little bit. Or is that the right word? I think I'm swinging the big word bat right now, and that might not be hitting out hard. So anybody else got a few? Laura, you got anything for us?
Yeah, it kind of plays into these same kind of themes around the technology. I think where media companies are challenged today is really understanding how to take the new technology and operationalize it. So you hear AI and people freak out. You hear ChatGPT and people freak out. Everything's going to be stolen. But when you look at how media companies are trying to develop new content, new revenue streams, and they're sitting on a huge archive of really good data, how do you use data analytics? How do you use AI or large language models to really develop new products, new services, new offerings, new revenue streams? And I think that's a gap that has to be filled for media companies to stay relevant for their users and to be able to generate more revenue or new revenue that they hadn't thought of before, especially if it's a company that's been more print centric and still trying to move to digital. And even like traditional companies, you look like a Sony Music. Now they're digging deeper, and how are they going to generate more revenue with Spotify? Do they go deeper with sentiment analysis, with genres, with the mood of their music to finally target their users? And it's all with data. And so that's where I think there's still a gap with a lot of traditional media companies and information providers trying to figure out, how do I actually operationalize this or productize all of this great data?
I love it. And I thought somebody was going to say this at some point in the conversation when I say, hey, what's the best technology? It's like, well, the best technology is a good strategy for using the technology that you have, right? Like, and so I really appreciate that, Lori. And I know that's part of where you sit in the equation, where you and Strive sit within
It's
the
just, you hear
conversation.
that when you start hearing the same thing, you know, every day from media companies saying, what do I do with this 30-year archive I have of data? You know, or subscriptions, and you're like, there's so much you could do with it, but don't be terrified of the technology. Like, there's ways to implement things where you're not giving it away for free.
Yeah, so good, so good. All right, so rapid fire, Marta, Jason, or Kenny, or Abby. You know, Abby, you've said some things, but also if you have any little, if you want to shoot a couple bullets at us of genius, then we'll take it. So Kenny, Abby, Marta, or Jason, got anything for us?
I mean, on my end, so you know, I'm sort of not exactly in media anymore, of course, but like we produce reports, and out of that we produce research reports. We produce sort of like single company reports and bond reports and things like that. So the process I've been going through with my team has been a lot more on consumption. And so like, I think we talk about like engagement and stuff a lot, and how and how we like build communities and engage users and things like that. So we've really been exploring sort of what are the use cases that people use our sort of content for, and then sort of like tweaking that consumption method. So like, do we need to put a fancy UI on top of it, or sort of some sort of visualization on top, because people are interested in certain data and insights that are actually coming from our content? Do we need to have sort of a much more digitized, easy to use search process for like long form content that's got, you know, paragraphs of sort of analytical notes that sort of sit in it? But I think it's not a very well looked into space to say like, we think we have to do everything with our content, but like, what are our like users actually looking for, and what is the easiest method for them to find sort of the quickest piece of information or content that they really want? So I've been having a lot of fun sort of playing with new visualization tools. We've been using, and Lori will know this well, we've been using sort of ThoughtSpot and Tableau and Power BI. But we've also sort of been playing around with, we've been playing around with sort of like, even in our front facing tools, like how do we actually tag some of this content in a really cool way and then make it really discoverable and findable for, let's say, an investment banker who's sort of looking at for something very, very particular.
Yeah, I love it. As you're coming to a close on that journey, because you're in experimentation now, it sounds like, would love to hear what you conclude in terms of what the best data visualization tools are.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody else? We're countdown, and then we're gonna open it up to space.
I'll drop my my today I was just kind of just being a sponge and listen to everybody. The tool that I think I really need to look into, thanks to Will, was well, he mentioned Satchel, which is really important because I got a lot of meetings to cover at Red Bank Green, and then Vendasta, because I have some really important stuff I need to do for the local YMCA, and I'm getting to the point where it could really be helpful. So I've got a lot to learn about that. I think what I liked about what Melissa said, just that curiosity, and I know John shared that, because I was thinking about that. It's a way of really caring about somebody. You know, the reason I even got to the stuff that I'm doing with YMCA is because I just started a conversation. I was naturally curious. And sometimes like just talking about what's effective in quote unquote sales is really just asking about what somebody is trying to do, where they're trying to go, and just natural curiosity. And ultimately what YMCA is trying to do is like get a connection with the community. They just want to, and I think that what Marta was saying, and like there's so much of what we do is driven by this like fundamental need to like connect with somebody, whether it's individually or with our community. I think it actually is such a driver of like not just in business. I think Marta made a good point that like you could drop that concept of connection to anything, and it makes sense in business. But I think so much of what we do just personally in our everyday lives is actually just about connecting with someone else. Fundamentally, even the things that we think we're doing individually are about connecting with other people. So anyway, those are very like unhardened thoughts, but it came out of just conversation today, and it's good. I enjoyed being a sponge and learning from you all today.
Thank you so much, Kenny. I appreciate you, man. Jason, you get the final word, and then I'll transition us. It's got to be a quick word, though.
I'm going to pass my time over to Martha because I've seen her raise her hand multiple times and trying to say something. So I was trying to.
Oh, sorry. Oh, I didn't see you, Martha. Go for it.
Oops, no worries. And I can kind of just drop it and say, maybe it's a topic for another time. I'm afraid to even bring it up, which is an intriguing thing. I'm helping a company called Meta Rides raise their first round of funding. And they are a Web3 interoperable racing car technology entertainment solution. And I say it like that because it's taken me quite a while to understand how they will monetize what they're building. But here's what I want to share. Am I losing you guys? You can hear me?
We can hear you,
Hear
but
me
your screen.
Okay, all right. Here's what I want to
share.
share. The energy of people and the caliber of people who are hovering around these people and the interest in what they're building is astonishing. You know, again, I keep saying, how you making money? How you making money? How you making money? They fundamentally have created a way to make cars interoperable in the metaverse, meaning you can move from world to world to world to world and take it with you. And there's a lot of background on it that, you know, and again, the metaverse is not I don't know a lot about it, but did I lose you guys?
No, you're still good. You keep going.
Yeah, I think it did.
You're frozen, but we can hear you.
We can hear you.
All right. So bottom line, there's something intriguing about the fact that Porsche, FedEx, UPS, Snoop Dogg, all of these people are coming to say, I want in, because they want to create places that will have value to their brands. And the money will come not because it's blockchain or anything like that. The money will come because a Porsche will go to them and pay a lot of money for their cars to be Porsche. And it is like this interesting convergence of, I looked it up to see if I was going crazy saying that I was going to share it with you, but it's the labeling is called phygital convergence. So this idea of physical and digital converging into this free wild west of the metaverse. And there's lots of debate about whether Web3 is really going to be real or happen. But I'm telling you, when the people who are sniffing around them is blowing me away. So
insane.
I will drop in MetaRides. It's metarides.io. So you can see it. There's the guy who's the founder of it is really kind of he's out there talking a lot about this space. So watch some of his videos. Intriguing, super intriguing. I still don't get how they're making money. But
and you're doing brand work for them? Is that true?
Yeah, I'm doing their investor pitches.
Okay. All right. Awesome. All right. So what we will do, what I'd like is I want this to be a place where we don't only talk about theoretical solutions within media, because this is super helpful. Like, I love this. Like, there are tactical advice and links to companies and all this, like, technologies that we can use. I love it. But I also want to spend some of our sessions like solving real problems, workshopping real problems. And so I want to invite like anybody in this group, and I'll put this out in email, that has a complex problem. I want to pit the resources of this group against really complex problems in the realm of data, media, revenue, and see if we can actually create solutions, like solve problems together within the Brain Trust. And so if anybody here got a big problem, big complex problem, and I'll be tapping you on the shoulder about this kind of stuff also just in our individual conversations. So it doesn't have to come through the group, it can come individually to me. But I'd like you to think of this as a space to try to get progress on things that are really difficult to progress on. And I guess, and that'll be it. So it's more setup than actually doing it today, obviously, but I'm just setting it up that's where I'm heading. And we are at time. And so I do, thanks to you, Kenny. I said, Kenny, when I run a webinar, what is the most important thing? You said, Johnny, just make sure you cut it on time. And I have been faithful to that advice since I started doing these over a year ago. So goodbye, everybody. And please do follow up, continue the conversation, email if you have more to say. Do it, because I want this to be a continuing conversation. Appreciate you all. Have a good day.
Thanks, man.
Bye-bye.